Welcome to the Career Changemaker podcast, where we focus on owning your career journey and making impact through the work that you do. Whether you're looking to pivot, transition into leadership, or reimagine your career completely, this podcast is for you. We'll unpack career development strategies, leadership insights, and the mindset shifts needed to thrive in your career. Being a career changemaker means taking control and shaping your professional path with intention. I'm your host, lawyer turned career and leadership development specialist, Janine Esbrand. So if you're ready for candid conversations that are going to help you grow, keep listening. Hello, and welcome to the show. We are back again for another episode where we are talking about leadership. But today we're talking about leadership without the title, how to influence and lead from any position. Because when we think about leadership, we often think about people with formal titles, right? So the managers, the directors, the executives. But the thing is, leadership isn't just about the title. It's about the mindset and the action that you take. You don't need to wait for someone to promote you into a leadership role. You don't wait for someone to give you the title of leader for you to start showing up as a leader and demonstrating leadership qualities. In fact, some of the best leaders are those who are leading before they've even given the title. Some of the best leaders are those who have been leading for a very long time, and because of the way they've been showing up, they are then given the title. So I want to talk today about how you can be leading from wherever you are and how you can start to build influence from wherever you are, regardless of the position. And oftentimes we think about leadership in terms of leading other people, but real leadership starts with self-leadership. Like, how are you leading yourself? How are you navigating the way that you are maneuvering throughout your career? And that is a skill set that you get to develop before you even have to lead other people, because there's a whole different set of skills that are required when you're leading other people. So today we want to talk about just leadership in general from any position. So if you are somebody who's ambitious in any way, shape or form when it comes to your career and moving forward, this episode is going to be for you. So do lean in, grab a notebook, grab a pen, take notes if you need to. Let's dive in. So let's start by talking about why leadership is a mindset and not a title. It's really about how you approach your work, like how you interact with others, how you step up, and how you face challenges. A great leader doesn't need to be told to act like one. You just see it, right? They take initiative, they're able to inspire others, they create value in whatever role they're in or whatever scenario or situation they're in. And this really starts with some key qualities. So emotional intelligence is one, self-awareness is another, and the ability to look beyond your own task and see the bigger picture. So that's strategic thinking, being able to zoom out and see the 30,000 foot view of something and then be able to zoom in and see what needs to be done right now. When I think of leading before you've been given the title, I think of one of my past clients. Her name was Janet, and she had been working for her organization for many years, many decades, and doing such incredible work. And she wanted to be a director. She deserved to be a director, but at this point she didn't have that title. But she was showing up and showing out at work. She was doing what she needed to do. When she saw that something needed to be done, she would take initiative. People would come to her and ask her questions. She would be doing things that were technically above her pay grade. And I remember her telling me about a time where her boss, her line manager, was out and he had an emergency and he wasn't able to be in the office. And there was an important meeting that needed to happen with various stakeholders within the company. And she was asked to step in. And she said when she went into that meeting, she was kind of nervous because she was like, I've never been in one of these meetings before. And this is kind of what I aspire to be doing, but this isn't yet my role. And when she went into the meeting and she participated in the conversation and the discussion, and they were trying to brainstorm some solutions to a challenge that they were having. And she was like, is this the types of conversations that I'm not involved in? Because right now I'm in this conversation, coming up with ideas, I am sharing, and everybody is asking me what I think. So even though she didn't have the title, she was carrying herself as a leader. She was carrying herself as someone who takes initiative, as someone who is able to contribute to problem solving. And because of that, people were asking her questions, people were coming to her. And so at the end of that meeting, she realized that where she had assumed there was a big gap between where she was now and where she wanted to get to in terms of her ability to perform, she realized that there was no gap. There was no gap. She was already showing up as that leader. She was already doing the work. And needless to say, not long after we had that conversation, she ended up securing a director position, not within the same organization, but elsewhere. So that leadership quality was there. She had it. She just needed to recognize that she had it. And so for some of you, you may be frustrated that you're not yet at that leadership level in terms of your title. But if you examine how you've been showing up and what you've been doing, you may well be already showing up as that leader. So how do you go about demonstrating leadership qualities more? So if you're not already doing it, here's some things that you can be thinking about. First thing is really taking initiative. So leaders don't wait to be told what they need to do. They step up and they take action. If they see an opportunity to add value, they seize it. Maybe there's a process that needs improving, or a project that needs a champion, or a team member who could do with some guidance. You can take initiative. Taking initiative that shows that you care about the bigger picture and that you're willing to go beyond the job description, that you're willing to go above and beyond the status quo so that you can contribute to the collective outcome, right? Because oftentimes when someone else needs something, it's not always going to impact you and your role, but it is going to impact the overall result for the organization or for the client. So you taking the initiative is showing those leadership qualities. Being a problem solver. So leaders don't just identify problems, they solve them. I remember I've worked for various different leaders, and some of the ones that are most memorable to me are the ones who don't just give you the answers. I remember working for a partner once, and I went and I was like, okay, this is the issue that we're having. The client has this issue. This is where we're at with the deal. Like, what do we do? And his response was like, what do you think? Don't just come to me with the problem, come to me with some solutions. So his expectation is not that I'm going to just say, here's a problem, you figure out. His expectation is that I start to do some of the thinking and solving the problems. And so as a leader, how can you be a problem solver? How can you be someone who doesn't just identify the problem, but starts to come up with options, starts to come up with solutions so that we're moving towards the goal, we're moving towards the resolution way quicker. And when you do that, you are the type of employee, you are the type of person, you are the type of manager, you are the person that gets remembered, right? If you have a leader who is stressed out about a situation and then they have someone on their team who comes to them and says, hey, I've seen that this is the issue, I've already taken care of it. Do you know how good that feels for the leader to be like, oh, you are a superstar. Thank you so much. And those are the types of people that get remembered. So how do you go about improving your problem solving skills? Sometimes it might just be noticing that there are problems and looking for opportunities to come up with a proactive solution, right? Be solution oriented. That's a key leadership trait. And then the last thing that I would say on this is encourage and supporting others, right? A leader is somebody who is looking to build people up. So whether that is mentoring someone more junior, whether that is offering a listening ear, celebrating someone's success, supporting others in a really powerful way, a leader is someone who is going to invest in other people and recognize that the collective is what is going to allow us to achieve our goals. So if one person in the team is not really performing or is struggling, it makes sense to support that person so that as a collective, everybody can move forward. So how can you go about thinking outside of the box in terms of this is what I'm doing and this is where I'm going, and start thinking about how you can be supporting people to the left and to the right? So those are like leadership qualities that are highly valued and not that hard for you to be able to practice and implement. So you want to be taking initiative, you want to be a problem solver, and you want to be the type of person who is supporting those around you. So those are kind of like qualities that we can be cultivating, things that we can be leaning into. And then what you want to be thinking about is, how do you influence? Okay, so there's the you showing up and how you're being on a day-to-day basis. The other really important aspect of leadership is influence. How do you build relationships and influence others within your team and beyond? And I think influencing others can feel hard, right? It's like, like I need to get so-and-so bought in because I want to execute this project, but these stakeholders are dragging their feet and they're not giving me the permission that I need, and therefore I'm not able to get this done, and then it's going to be delayed, and then there's always, consequences to that. So working on our ability to influence is important. And really the most influential people are those who are able to connect. Those who are able to connect others with others. I say all the time that business is all about people. So whether you are contributing to an organization, whether you run your own business, it's all about people. And people like people, or people dislike people. People can be shallow, people can be deep. There's so many different angles to people. But in terms of a common thread across the board, is like you need to connect with people in order for you to build a relationship with them. And one of the easiest ways to connect with people is to listen and pay attention. It's often the case that we can be thinking about, what do I need to say? What do I need to do? What do I need to say in order to impact this person and influence this person? And sometimes it's less about what you need to say and it's more about how you go about listening. People like talking about themselves. If you can be the person to listen and really pay attention to what are their concerns, what are their needs, what are they motivated by, you give yourself a much easier job. Because if you listen to them and you hear what it is that they want and they're trying to achieve and what they desire and what they fear, then when you come up with solutions or when you're positioning your ask or your question, you're able to do it from a place of understanding. Like you understand that person, you understand what their motivations are. And so the way that you are then able to present what it is you're looking to present can be different, right? You can show empathy, you can show that you're genuinely interested in what it is that they have to say. And then once you have that rapport that you're building, it's so much easier to then get somebody to get on board. When I think of this, I think about my brother. So my brother is one of those people who life is all of the party. Like everybody knows him. He is the person that everyone wants to be around. And he's very, very good at influencing other people, at getting them to do things for him. And what I've realized is the reason why he's able to do that is that he connects with people first, and then from there builds a level of rapport where people are like, oh yeah, I'll help you, I want to do this for you, I want to do that for you. And so yeah, he's managed to just go through life using that charm. And I remember when he was younger, he went on, I think he must have been a teenager, and he went on his first kind of residential trip. And I remember him coming back and my mum opened his suitcase and was like, how come your suitcase is so tiny? Did you do this? He's like, oh, no, my teacher did it. My teacher packed my suitcase for me. And I remember thinking, your teacher packed your suitcase? How did you manage that? But the reality is he's built rapport with people such that they're like, oh, I'll help you. And so we want to have that same kind of that same approach, and it doesn't come naturally to everybody. It comes naturally to him, it comes naturally to some people, it doesn't come naturally to everybody, but you can make a conscious effort to look for ways that you can really connect with people and understand them on a human relational level, regardless of the scenario. Because sometimes we can think, oh, this is work, this is professional, it's very separate from my personal life, I don't want to build relationships, I just want to come, show up, do my job and go home. That only takes you so far. If you want to progress to leadership, if you want to be somebody who is a go-to person amongst your clients or in your industry, you have to be able to build relationships. You have to let people know a little bit about you. You have to show that you want to know a bit about them, so that you can be trusted and that you can be respected and that people are going to be coming to you. So influence, really the baseline foundation of influence is relationship building. So prioritize that. Look for ways that you can identify people that you want to build relationships with and lean in to that. And when we're talking about leading without a title, it's not easy because you might feel like I'm doing all of this, I'm operating as a leader, but I'm not getting the recognition because I don't have the title for it. And this goes back to something we talked about in a previous episode. Go back and listen to the episode on owning your value. Once you know that you are doing this and you are showing up and you are contributing, make sure that you're talking about that, right? In terms of the impact that that's making. If you showing up as a leader and taking initiative is supporting your team, is supporting your department, is supporting your organization, when are you sharing that? How are you sharing that? How are you demonstrating that? in which meetings, in which settings are you speaking up? Are you showing your leadership? You want to make sure that as you're doing it, you are visible, right? We want to increase our visibility. We want to make sure that people are seeing how we're showing up so that it counts. It counts not only in terms of the impact that you're making, but in terms of your career progression and your growth. Okay, so that's what I wanted to share with you. Lead, lead, lead. So lead before you get the title, lead while you have the title. So here's my actionable takeaways for you. You want to make sure that you're leading from where you are, regardless of your title. So take initiative, look for opportunities for you to step up and add value, be a problem solver. So focus on finding solutions, not just identifying problems. And then you want to be building relationships with people so that you're able to influence them, and you want to look for ways that you can get connected. So a few key takeaways. You want to make sure you're taking initiative, look for opportunities where you can lead, don't wait for permission. You want to be a problem solver, so focus on finding solutions, not just identifying problems. And you want to look for ways that you can connect with people, build relationships that can lead to you finding it a lot easier to influence people. So these things don't require you to get promoted tomorrow, right? These things don't require you to have the title. These are things that just require a little bit of intention, a little bit of effort, and then you can start practicing today. You can start practicing today and see how that impacts the people around you and how you influence others and the contribution that you're making to your teams. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you liked what you heard and there was something that I said that really struck a chord with you, send me a text. Send me a text message. Let me know what resonated. I would love, love, love to hear from you. And until next time, look after yourself and keep moving towards your career goals. Bye.